question is not whether you have money or want it. The question is how you deal with it.
Some idolize it, others demonize it, because money alone will not make you happy. You will have to let it flow. Avarice, greed, the broken relationship with money, the interrupted flow is called hoarding. Life is in flow when money also flows. We will dive into the money art exhibition of Denkstahl and the historical development of the power of money. We ask, what does money do with you, and what do you do with the money?
For all the souls of this world, all enslaved with the sword, for all the people of this earth who suffer 'cause of money's worth, for all of those who've been dispelled from land and loved ones so heartfelt, for everything that grows and thrives, I am sorry, I apologize.
The sinful use of money can already be found in the biblical name of Mammon. Mammon, a worshipped deity, originates from dishonestly acquired profit or immorally used wealth. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be attached to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and Mammon. These words of Jesus are clear and plain, but their earthly interpretation is not as distinct. Thirty Symbolinge is inspired by the Haupt collection. The owner of the art collection, Professor Stefan Haupt, collects exclusively critical money art, which he exhibits in banks, among other places. According to the biblical story, Jesus was betrayed by Judas for 30 pieces of silver. Here, behind the crucified Jesus figure, in the midst of silver coins, a donkey is indicated. According to the story, a donkey had cost 30 pieces of silver at the time. The donkey, a burden bearer, Jesus, a bearer of human vices. In the New Testament, the money Judas received for betraying Jesus is called blood money, literally, price of blood. In addition, the church coined the term blood gold.
For power and money, a storm of misery you've sparked as any, a heart that does not forget, a heart that bleeds because you do forget.
The extent of black money is difficult to estimate. In 2018, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimated that between $800 billion and $2 trillion had been laundered worldwide each year. The size of the black economy in Germany alone was estimated at nearly 320 billion euros for 2019. The word history of bribe money goes back to traveling by coach, a former traveling carriage whose wheels had to be lubricated regularly. He who greases well, drives well, is the corresponding saying. At the time, bribe money was the money paid for the lubrication of the carriage. The sense of bribe money received a different meaning in the Middle Ages. Lubricate means to grease someone's hand, anoint, or make it supple. Denkstahl read the non-fiction book Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown, published in 1970. Visibly moved by the description of the massacre and the Indians' last stand against the white man, he created his war painting series. Fallen heads of chiefs, provided with the logos of the global players of our time. Denkstahl understands the Indian portraits as war paintings. The painting, especially of the face and the chest, was of great importance for the Indian warriors. The war painting series involuntarily brings a theme of identity and belonging to the fore. The designations Indian or white man alone are false, because they are imposed from the outside, the other. The natives themselves do not call themselves Indians. Consequently, the war painting series is not about the Indians, but about pointing out certain power structures. Bloody money is an allusion to the institution, Federal Reserve Bank, the private central bank with the greatest financial power in the world.
What victory on the score, it is war, across the world at this hour, for money and for power. As in the past, it always was, but worse.
Money is more than just a medium of exchange. It is the symbol of prosperity and wealth. Currency has great symbolic significance, also for the identity of a nation or a union. The American dollar is a currency icon par excellence. $0, an allusion by the artist to the absolute devaluation of money. Artists like Andy Warhol, Keith Haring, Joseph Beuys like to use the dollar bill to place their statements on it. Art on $1 bills has established itself as $1 art. It has found its enthusiasts and is readily collected. The interesting thing about $1 art on original dollar bills is that the dollar is devalued and revalued at the same time. Lincoln worked for the abolition of slavery. Kennedy pushed for the abolition of segregation through equality. Obama was the first African American president. All three U.S. presidents represent reformation and innovation, to the disadvantage of the order of the establishment. Justitia, the goddess of justice, has always criticized the judiciary. Being right and getting right are two fundamentally different qualities. And too often in this world, it is exclusively about money and power, and not about what is just. Although justice is considered a desirable virtue and forms the foundation of human and social coexistence, it seems that most things are not very just. Every 10 seconds, a child dies of hunger in this world, although the amount of food available and produced would be enough for all, although not a single person on the planet would have to die. The dark side of being a child in the world is clearly reflected in poverty and child labor. A total of 218 million children and young people between the ages of 5 and 17 work worldwide, under conditions that deprive them of their elementary rights and opportunities. Child poverty, child labor, child trafficking, child soldiers, all facets of abuse, of child abuse. Child abuse. The Great Society shows emaciated people in front of a stylized barcode. They wear Rolex crowns, Louis Vuitton robes, and Mercedes stars. The Great Society, also called the Affluent Society, is the new land of milk and honey. We have everything we need, and even more of it. Others do not. Denkstahl brings prosperity and luxury to the poor, even if at first in his pictures. Money drives you crazy. Whom does it not? Some confess sincerely, Others feel uncomfortably caught by this title. He sits behind the Rolls-Royce grill and has perhaps gone mad. The Golden Cage raises questions. What do money and power do to the human psyche? And how does the dark side look like? Discussions about whether money is good or bad, corrupts or ennobles the character, do not serve the cause. Beyond all the problems of those who have no money and those who have too much of it, it is favorable when it does not drive people crazy and when money is mostly used as an expression of genuine appreciation.
If freedom means money, then I'm in prison for life for something I don't know I've done.
The satisfied slave, that he is voluntarily and content with consumption and luxury. He cannot resist because he does not want to resist the temptation. The satisfied slave, one of the most symbolic Denkstahl images, epitomizes the life world of the postmodern man. With Rolex, Prada, Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, Louis Vuitton, Mercedes, Shell, Esso, Google, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Starbucks, Burger King, Nestle, Coca-Cola, amid dollar and euro signs, amongst others. End of Bargeld has 7 bullet holes and was created when the purple 500 euro bill was removed from circulation in 2019. End of Bargeld is a protest against the removal of the most valuable euro bill. The end of the 500 euro bill is seen as a precursor to the targeted abolition of all cash. The abolition of cash should lead to stopping crime and terrorism. Really? The richest duck in the world, Scrooge McDuck, loves money and gold. The secret of his wealth is his first self-earned coin, his lucky coin, also called Lucky 10. He is known not only for stinginess and busyness, but also for his neurotic distrust and aggressive outbursts. In passive-aggressive, Scrooge McDuck is surrounded by dollar bills and bitcoins. Silver Surfer from Marvel's Fantastic Four surfs galaxies in search of new planets as an emissary of Galactus, the world devourer. Earth as a dead satellite? Quite possible, judging by the tendencies of human failure. And of course, not all people can afford a ticket to Mars. Only for the owners of a black Amex card, a path will be paved to the new world. The colonization of Mars, the red war planet, has always been a technocratic scientific endeavor. Vast sums of money flow into space research for this endeavor. Instead of saving our blue planet, shaping and protecting life here in such a way that resettlement of mankind is not an option, we have been looking for alternatives.
The partiality for artistry that I live in every breath, what I give is never enough and never will it be, because every work that I create remains ever too meager to a degree. No picture on its own may honestly bespeak what needs to be said as critique. All the heaviness at peak, the misery, the weary crime of time, to demonstrate and illustrate, bowing down in humility and to contemplate before each picture, like to a company sign depictured of modern times, before which we kneel and bow down, crown and testify, also only the decay in every way. To say what nobody says, and also to question what nobody to question dares, so shall the work of the artist be. And no human being, no critique, no poke and no fuck, no click and no clack. Yes, also no capital will my worldview unsettle. An adapted artist always resembles a circus monkey, and the people with stares so hungry will nevertheless only remain zoo visitors. But one day, he'll be ready. When his soul screams incredibly, he'll come to his senses. The zoo visitor, out of his senses, will recognize the true creation, and in the partiality for artistry, what once was cursed, he then found what he was longing to find at first.